We've got the Mazda CX-30 Turbo.
It's not any bigger.
We're in a turbo. Oh yeah.
It's good.
Wow, it's good.
I'm going to tell you a little history about this engine in a moment, but right now we're going to get into this engine. What is under the hood of this one?
A 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's got a 6-speed automatic transmission on regular fuel, 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. If you use premium, you get a bump in power, 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque, standard all-wheel drive.
Now, you don't have to get the turbo. There is a regular, naturally aspirated 2.5 liter version of this with 191 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. Standard I-Active all-wheel drive. More on the motor in just a moment. Right now, the key standard features of the base CX-30.
The base model comes with a 7-inch LCD meter display, an 8.8-inch display with Mazda Connect, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, an 8-speaker audio system, push-button start, heated black cloth upholstery, 8-way manual driver's seat and a 4-way manual passenger seat, I-Active safety features. In the US, heated front seats are not standard, and you get a standard audio system with 6 speakers, not 8.
So many years ago, I will say Mazda, Andrea is going to say Mazda, so we've got all bases covered. And maybe I'll even throw in a Mazda for our Japanese viewers.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so when they developed the CX-9 after they separated from Ford, they needed a new power plant. So they developed a turbocharged 2.5 liter engine. So the engine that's powering this little car, and it is little, was developed for a 3-row midsize SUV. So I find it quite torquey. It's a torquey. The way it's all calibrated is torquey. It's very satisfying though.
It is very satisfying. I mean, you get in this and it's just, I keep saying it, a lot of fun to drive. The steering feels a little bit heavier. It's got some great feedback. You take the corners like you're driving a car, but Andrea, you've got a little bit more ground clearance.
It's a Mazda 3.
It is.
Raised a little bit. It's really a Mazda 3 raised a little bit.
What an incredible handling little vehicle. And I can see why people who drive this love it.
Okay. What's interesting though, and all of that is true, is it doesn't have independent rear suspension.
Nope.
So when they developed the latest version of the Mazda 3 and this, they went to a torsion beam setup, but it keeps the back really flat in the corners and lets the front wheels bite. So you actually get great handling even without independent rear suspension.
Fantastic. Now, off the top, acceleration from a stoplight and passing power on the highway, no problem at all with this model. I mean, I would just be happy with putting regular fuel in. I don't really need to use premium to get that bump in power. You're going to find that the power is great with this model.
So Andrea mentioned premium fuel. I'll use premium to talk about the price. So if you want this turbo, there is definitely a premium charged. You don't have to go this far though. You can get the naturally aspirated engine, as I mentioned, the 2.5 without the turbo, and the all-wheel drive system. And for the vast majority of people, that'll be more than enough.
And also, you know, although we are reviewing the turbo model, we have driven the non-turbo, and we find that that powertrain is fantastic as well. Power is sufficient. And I find as a city runaround, the size of this is perfect, making parallel parking an absolute breeze. By the way, the exterior mirrors tilt down, so it's even easier.
What hasn't changed, other than the color, what's the color called?
Color is Aero Gray, and we first saw that in the Mazda MX-5.
You were going to say Mazda.
I knew you were going to get me on that.
In the Mazda MX-5, I don't know how you say it in MX-5 in Japanese.
So when we bought our MX-5, we got it in red, of course. I think that's the best color, but the Aero Gray looks really good. Yeah, on that
I didn't
model.
have a vote, by the way, on the color. And it was all Andrea on the color.
I had to have it.
But you know what? Nothing else has changed on the outside.
No.
It's the same, good-looking, small SUV. And it's only when you start to drive this for a week, and we've got it here for a week, you see how many of these things are on the road.
I know.
Like, they sell a lot of these.
I like the look of this. I'm not crazy about all of the black cladding, but Mazda seems to like black cladding on their models.
But that's what they've done. They've taken a Mazda 3 and they've raised it up a little bit and put on the cladding.
Yeah.
So if you really want to do this cheaper, you can just get a Mazda 3 all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
You can even get the turbo engine, and it's all the same on the inside.
Yeah.
All right. So on the outside, not much has changed. I guess we're done with the outside.
Yeah, we're kind of done with it. We've been there, done that.
Oh, you know what we haven't done, Andrea? We've got it in sport now.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little acceleration test. I don't know what lane you're going to go in here.
I'm going to stay here, but I'm just going to let this car get ahead
hit
a
it,
little
hit
bit.
it,
Here
hit
we
it.
go.
Not bad.
So satisfying.
Do you know what we forgot to do, though? So we've got it in sport. What else can we put it in?
Got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe.
The CX-30 gets 8 inches of ground clearance and comes standard with LED headlamps, LED rear combination lamps, available front and rear signature lighting, standard 16-inch wheels, available 18-inch, and a temporary spare tire, which is great to see. The turbo models get larger exhaust pipes, black exterior accents, and then 18-inch black wheels. The Suna model in Canada and the Carbon in the US has an exclusive zircon sand exterior and a terracotta interior.
You smell that, Andrea?
I do.
Well, there's nothing worse than getting in somebody else's car as a passenger and it smells. Maybe it smells like it's damp, it's musty, an old dog, or maybe just the vehicle is old. You know what? Maybe the owner is nose blind. You can make sure that your car is always smelling great with Drift. It's a subscription that sends you premium fragrances in unique wood, metal, or stone designs each month. Products range from $9 to $15. All you do is remove the Drift tile from the pouch. This one's wood, and it's called Curbana. That actually smells really good. And then you place it on the metal sun visor clip. The clip is reusable. And you switch up the scent each and every month. It's absolutely your choice. A Drift isn't just for your car, it's also a home scent solution as well.
For the home, Drift has a home scent diffuser. You take your monthly refill and place it inside. Plug it in with 3 levels of intensity and enjoy the fragrance. Each refill lasts up to 30 days and you can get a new one each month. So make sure to use our coupon code MOTOR55 at drift.co or scan the QR code for 55% off. It's less than $5 for your first month.
Well, I did say it off the very beginning, this vehicle has not grown. It's the same look on the outside and the same on the inside. And you might be wondering, Andrea, why are you reviewing this car again? Because that's what we do.
It's what we do.
And it's been a couple of years since we've driven this, so it's nice to get it back because it has reinforced how fun it is to drive, but it also reinforces it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone. It doesn't work for every family, maybe a growing family where you want to put children in the back seat that are also growing. It is a very small rear seat. But positives to this, it's a beautiful interior for the subcompact class. Yeah, there's some shiny hard plastic in here a little bit, but there's a nice pattern and I think it looks great. I love the traditional shifter. This does come standard with an 8.8-inch display screen with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I think that Mazda could add that 10.25-inch screen, which is available with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as a standard feature because many competitors in this class are offering wireless now.
Okay, so who is this really excellent for? It's great for a young couple, you know, starting out in life, maybe their first new car. They're active, they like to go out and do some fun things on the weekend, but they don't take a lot of people or stuff inside the car. That's great. A lot of empty nesters really like this car. Kids have grown up, they're off at college, whatever. You just need a second car. It's really good for that. Wouldn't be my choice for car seats or strollers, as Andrea mentioned, but a lot of the attributes are all there that they have at Mazda, which is the nicest materials, of course they give us the nicest one. And I love this red interior. It's very close to Andrea's jacket. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Very close. It's more of a burgundy. It's more burgundy. It's more like a really expensive wine color.
Yes, and I like it more than the Acura bright red.
Yes.
I could live with this. It's called garnet red, and I think it's quite beautiful. And then there's red stitching throughout the vehicle as well. This comes standard with cloth upholstery, available leatherette and leather, which is nice. Now, something new for 2025, Mazda has added available Alexa integration for easier hands-free commands. So that is something new for 2025.
What's great about Mazda is even on the smallest car, the Miata, they still have the control wheel and the volume knob here in the center, and I really like that. It keeps the fingerprints off the screen. It's easy to use once you're used to it. It's a great command center. Now, some Mazda cars, you can use it as a touchscreen, and others you can't. Where are we with this one?
Yeah, if you pair wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, that 10.25-inch screen becomes a touch screen, and you can use it at all speeds, which is quite nice. Now, the screen does sit further back on the dash, but it's still nice to have if you're sitting and you're parked, if you want to use it as a touch screen. There are a variety of interior color options, which is nice. Black, this red, and a terracotta. In the US, you do have a few other color options, beige as well as white.
Available features include navigation, a 360-degree camera, 12-speaker Bose sound system, a wireless charger, heated steering wheel, moonroof, 10-way power driver's seat memory, dual-zone climate control, rear seat vents, a power liftgate, and front and rear parking sensors. What you don't get over there is a height adjustment or power-operated seat.
That's right.
But you get paddle shifters.
Get paddle shifters.
Well, here is the Achilles heel of this CX-30. It's the back seat isn't that big. Here's me getting in. Not a lot of legroom, not a lot of headroom, and the one thing you'll probably notice is the side windows out the back are not big either.
Comparing the CX-30 to the Subaru Crosstrek, the CX-30 has 41.7 inches of front row legroom, which is about an inch less than the Subaru. Second row legroom at 36.3 inches is about the same as the Crosstrek.
Not many vehicles in this class with a power liftgate, so that is really nice to see. When you open it up, same thing. Not the biggest in this class.
Cargo space behind the second row is 20.2 cubic feet, which is about the same as the Subaru. And overall cargo space at 45.2 cubic feet falls short to the Crosstrek.
All right, let's get to your questions.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
It seems Mazda is on purpose to keep the 30 series in a not perfect setting, always missing some useful features to push some consumers to the next segment with higher prices for a bit more features.
Well, welcome to the auto industry.
I know.
That's the way the auto industry works. Oh, you can't get that in this model, and maybe it's a little bit too small. Hey, we've got this one over here.
Yeah.
It's just $50 more a month. Would you like to buy one today? That's how the auto industry works.
And when you look at the CX-5, you're not wrong on that. The price difference isn't massive. I mean, depending on the trims that you're looking at, there is a difference. But if you find this too small, or you find, oh, it doesn't quite have the features I want, like ventilated front seats and heated rear seats, yes, there's the CX-5. But I think the beauty of this CX-30 is the way that it handles and how dynamic it is, because it is small. But obviously, that's a negative as well.
Can't have everything, Andrea.
Can't have it all.
Where would you put it?
But they'll sell you a CX-5 or a CX-50.
And, hey, well, by the way, if that's too small and you want panorama, well, we'll put you in a CX-70. That's the way it works.
Absolutely. You've got it all. And if you need a third row.
Oh, we'll put you in a CX-90.
There you
By
go.
the way, how's your weekend looking? You want a sports car? We'll sell you a Miata.
They've got it all covered. And I just want to make one more point, is that in this subcompact class, everything is getting bigger. We saw that with the Hyundai Kona. People complained, oh, it's too small. So what did Hyundai do? They made it larger, but then it misses some of that engaging drive that you got with the Kona. So Mazda is sticking with the CX-30 being smaller for now. How is the seat length for your thighs?
Well, you complain a lot about that, Andrea.
They know. Wait a sec,
Oh,
there's
it's
more.
Wait, there's more.
I'm also interested in knowing if Zach thinks the seat cockpit space feels comfortable and large enough for 2 to 3 hour drives. So why don't you start and then I'll do the seats.
No problem. This is basically a Mazda 3 hatchback, slightly modified, and I have no problem with that. I think this car's quite comfortable. It's fun to drive, and I could easily drive it for a couple hours. How is the seat comfort?
I have to say the CX-30 is one of the most comfortable Mazda seats that I have been in. And I'm actually finding the thigh support in this to be very good. I mean, are these older model seats or something? I don't know.
Can we get you into one of these for low monthly payments?
I would drive one of these in a second.
Oh, easy now.
I really like it. But it wouldn't be the best for family because of the rear seat. The boys are too big now.
If you want to get a question in, make sure to follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes and to get your question in, of course. And for me, it's Motormouth_Auto. And the links are below the like button.
I recently test drove a CX-30 Turbo. It was awesome. Seriously considering one for my next vehicle. Would you recommend the CX-30 Turbo over the Q3 and XC40? The CX-30 felt nicer on the inside than the Q3, but I do think the XC40 is nicer, just out of my budget.
Okay, it all comes down to, are you okay with the extra cost to buy the car? Are you okay with the extra cost to run the car? Because the Turbo, she's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it yesterday driving it, and I just saw the gas gauge doing this. So it's more expensive to buy, more expensive to run. If you're okay with that, knock yourself out.
And I would agree with you. This is a much nicer interior than the Q3. The XC40 interior, yes, is really nice, but that is tuned more for comfort and refinement, in my opinion. This is not. This is tuned to, oh man, just take this, drive it, have fun with it. Very engaging.
All right, there you go. There's your answer. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Love Mazda. Have you heard anything about bringing a hybrid version of the CX-30?
So at Mazda, with this platform, they have what's called Sky Active, and it's a scalable platform from a small car like this all the way up to a large vehicle like the CX-9 that they used to have, and all of the engines and transmissions could work in all of the different vehicles. So when they do finally come out with a CX-5 with a hybrid, I would think it could plug into this.
Yeah, there's lots of rumors online. You know, there's even a new Mazda CX-30 that they're showing that, believe it or not, has a bigger rear seat and more cargo space.
Shocker.
Whether that's true or not, who knows? But when it comes to the powertrain, these rumors include a gas, a hybrid, and a plug-in hybrid, and the gas is going to have a mild hybrid system. All I can say is we have to wait and see. Nothing official from Mazda.
All right, we're going to get in now the vital stats of this. The price is very important, of course, for the Turbo and more.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. Pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just over $32,500, and this GT Turbo that we're driving is just over $43,000. In the US, the base model starts at just over $25,000, and the top trim just over $37,000.
Here's the fuel economy for the non-turbo. 9 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.1 on the highway. That's 26 miles per gallon city, 33 on the highway. For the turbo, it's 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.9 on the highway. That's just 22 miles per gallon city, 30 on the highway. This CX-30 can tow 1,500 pounds. And Mazda offers a warranty of 3 years with unlimited kilometers in Canada, 3 years and 36,000 miles in the United States. So you want a subcompact crossover vehicle. Here's some of the best sellers.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Toyota Corolla Cross with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 169 horsepower, and a starting price of $31,000.
The Kia Seltos with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 147 horsepower, and a starting price of $28,500.
The Subaru Crosstrek with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 152 horsepower, and a starting price over $32,000.
The Honda HR-V with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 158 horsepower, and a starting price of $33,000.
So there are 4 subcompact crossovers for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
What a fantastic handling crossover.
It is fun to drive.
I'd love to see a height adjustment, even if it's manual, on the passenger seat.
And it's not for it to go up. We don't need to go up. We need to go down because it's such a small car, which is my negative. It's such a small car. It's not for everybody. And all the rumors, there's another one coming, so we'll have to wait and see. So there it is. It's the current version of the Mazda, Andrea calls it Mazda CX-30. What do you guys think of that?
Thanks for watching. And if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time. So make sure to use our coupon code MOTOR55 at drift.co or scan the QR code for 55% off. It's less than $5 for your first month.